Greetings, my beautiful cuddlebugs. Welcome to Ramblings of a Book Dragon, where we dive into the warmth of good books and unravel stories that feel like a literary hug. I'm Allie, your host, and I'm thrilled to embark on another cozy adventure with you. So grab a cup of your favorite beverage, snuggle into your cozy reading nook, and let's begin. But before we do, please feel free to comment and subscribe so you won't miss a single episode. I really value your feedback and book recommendations. Now let's begin today's episode. Now, today I am reviewing The Hermes Saga, which had finally came out for Halloween, and I have thoughts. Some of them are probably going to be good. Let's begin with the saga and the songs, and we're in the second to last saga, and the final one will be Ithaca, and I can't believe it's almost over. I'm really curious and excited to see what he's going to do next once it's completed. Obviously, that doesn't mean it's over. It'll be if he's going to take it to Broadway. With some of the stuff that's going on, I really don't think it would make sense for it to go to a Broadway show. I think it would make more sense for it to be maybe a full done animatic or going into a recording of putting it all together on one album. I'm sure he has a million ideas, and I'm excited to continue to see where this goes and continue to support. But we have 5 songs this time, and we're going to begin with Not Sorry for Loving You with Calypso and all of the toxicity of this song, which I found very interesting. It's a beautiful song. Honestly, I like this one a lot more than Love in Paradise. Love in Paradise just gave me the ick, and this song is ick too as well because of the toxicity here and the victim blaming. But we begin with Calypso going for, this is right after Athena went into the God Games and she won with everything, and she convinced Zeus to let him go to free Odysseus. And so now Calypso is going to him and saying, well, someone came to me. We don't know who. We're assuming we understand that it, later on we find out it's Hermes, but right now we don't know who it is. And she is just really victim blaming him. Well, you can go, but she's not going to be the one to save him. And so she has to let him go, but she is not sorry for loving him, which is the whole thing. And then she goes into this whole long diatribe, not even a diatribe, it's this whole long rant about how she was exiled to this island 100 years ago when she was young. She'd never had anyone around her. And then he came along because somehow or another he managed to get to the island. And then she fell in love with him, and he doesn't love her. And I hate that you aren't chasing me. Why won't you at least pretend? And I love you, but I'm not in love with you, which makes sense given the fact that it was only them for 7 years. So very, 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 very Stockholm Syndrome situation, which makes sense. I love you so much. We don't know what all happened on those 7 years. We know what they're saying, that he never cheated on his wife. But in the original situation, there was some SA going on, which is just ugh. So I really don't think it's a beautiful song. The artist did a really great job voicing over it, but it was just kind of funny that she was just doing all this stuff and trying to victim blame. Why won't you love me? Please just love me. And he's just, I'm out. I need to get out. I need to get home to my wife. Peace. I love you, but I don't love you the way you need me to. And it's just very funny. And okay, girl, just chill out. And then into Dangerous, Odie is in the ocean and is all kinds of depressed and in his head because he's talking about the 600 men who died, and he's finally getting back home. But then we don't, because you're so used to under full speed ahead, we're getting back to our homeland. That's the whole shtick, is we have no chorus of getting back home, and it just really hits. Oh, poor baby, because you're so used to hearing the chorus of the men singing back to our homeland, and there's none of that. poor thing. So he's on his way back home, and then Hermes shows up, and and so Odysseus realizes that he was the one who talked to Calypso, and he's telling him all about how he can get home, but he has to put everything on the line. This is going to be super duper dangerous. It's going to be crazy with uncharted waters. You have to continue to travel north, follow the North Star, everything. It's going to be a dangerous situation. And then this is part of what I'm not fully comprehending is we get a bit of the wind god Aeolus coming back through Hermes with giving him a wind back with a storm. Is sort of a trap situation where this storm is there because of Poseidon, and the storm, if he opens the bag, is going to keep him from going home, but he has to put it all on the line to be able to get home. So what is it becomes, I see what we're doing, and I'm going to explain my thoughts more later, but I don't get I'm just gonna say it. I was wondering what the situation was going to be. I wasn't sure what was going on, and what we did. I don't the direction, but also I'm not the creative director. I'm not the writer. But he tells him it's going to be a wee bit dangerous, just a smidge. So we get into what's going on with Charybdis. What he was basically saying, I don't have time to kill you. I don't have to do this, so I'm not going to. I know what's going to happen. And it was just interesting because in the original source material, Charybdis was right next to Scylla. So, okay, is Scylla kind of just sticking her head out and watching and being, oh God, this guy again? Or is Charybdis in a completely different area? That's something that I'm trying to think of, okay, is this in a different area? Because Hermes was talking about being in uncharted waters. So if Charybdis is in the same area as before, he was there before. That was all with Scylla, but we're going to need a map. That's basically what it's going to wind up becoming is we're going to need a map, but he has to Charybdis is a monster that sucks in its prey via a whirlpool situation. So he just has to get past that. He doesn't have to worry about fighting it. He doesn't have to worry about killing it. Plus, he's only one man, so he's trying to keep his strength because Hermes had warned him that there's going to be strange men. There's going to be strangers on the island who are going to look at you with smiles, but it's going to be dangerous. So he's warning. It was an interesting way of warning him about the suitors, which I found very interesting. And so, okay, your wife and son are in danger. They're in danger. So, yeah. So that's going to be interesting. But then your heart just breaks because once he gets past Charybdis, he finally sees Ithaca again. He gets so close and his voice is just so full of relief. And he's, my love, don't be scared. I'm going to be there soon. I'm going to be there today. And then fucking Poseidon has to show up again. Dude, get a life. And I don't know. I don't know my thoughts about all of this. But Get in the Water was one of the songs I was most excited about. And Steven Rodriguez, he knocked this out of the park. I love his voice with this. It just really just fits. It fits so well with the salt water and the storminess and just how angry and scary sounding it is. But basically, get it in the water. It's either you have to either sacrifice yourself, or I'm gonna kill your wife, your son, your kingdom. Someone's gonna die dude, originally you killed 558 men on all of this because your son was blinded. But it seems this is a hatred that runs deeper. And thinking about it, what the hell? Who hurt you, Poseidon? What happened here? This is a deeper and 10 years is a weekend to a god, because that's nothing to a god. 10 years is, and Odysseus, let it go. It's been 10 years. Hasn't there been enough? Yeah, but also he was, and plus he was mad because Odysseus didn't even kill his son. So what do you want? You basically killed 600 of his men, either directly or through the course of trying to avoid this guy. And very great song, but dude needs to get a life. And then because he doesn't want, he has a reputation to uphold, and he doesn't want anyone to think he's weak. But were you not in Olympus with the God Games, and that Athena went up to bat with him? And that's something that I was wondering was going to happen. Was it if Athena was going to kind of rock up? Because what's been interesting thinking about it more later on is after Odysseus finally decided to say, F this, I'm going to be ruthless, I am going to become the monster, I'm going to be my own thing. This, we're always here for the rambles. We're always rambling here. But it's just thinking about it more, it was interesting because the times that he was able to be quote unquote ruthless were against the more mortal, more easily killed beings. The siren, the cyclops, the sheep. But when he's had to go up against more powerful beings, and plus he didn't even stand a chance against Zeus. He didn't even stand a chance against Zeus, but even with Circe, he had to have help. He's had help. So I guess he was trying, and I'm not even at the point of my true rant here, and this is just me rambling on, but it was just but he never really stood much of a chance without divine intervention against gods. Even with Scylla. I mean, Scylla was a nymph turned into the beast, or turned into the six-headed monster. And so it was just interesting against certain opponents, the monster strategy worked, but then again, against others, against actual gods, against a witch, Circe, that didn't really work. So it was it's very interesting to think about. And then just the fact that but anyway, what was what direction was I going? Oh, yes. So basically, he gets into the water. Sorry, that was a ramble that completely distracted me. Wow, but yeah. So where was I? So we're getting into a whole conversation between Odysseus and Poseidon, and can't you just let it go? It's been 10 years. We've both lost a lot. Can't you let it go? And I can't let it go. And so he basically was about to drown Odysseus. And then again, because we can't ever be allowed to forget, Polites shows up, and we can't ever let it go. We can't never forget Pancake. We can never forget the Pancake situation. But Polites is, you can relax, my friend, as he's drowning. And then we also get Eurylochus and his mom. And so Death is welcoming him, a warm friend for all the Potterheads out there, welcoming him back. But then somehow the windbag was there and he was able to grab it. And then I think this is the part that was also kind of messing with my head a little bit with the things that I'm about to complain about in 600 Strike, is that in 600 Strike, the animatic is he uses the windbag, basically a jet propulsion backpack, to help get him out of the water, and he's able to use it. And so I understand the purpose of the song is revenge for the 600 men who died, and and he is sick and tired of being bullied, of being pushed around, by the gods of Poseidon, of everything, and because he's so close to Ithaca, he can see his home. And the fact that he showed up and it was going to kill him, fuck that. I am almost home. I am not going to die so close to home. I am going home to my wife and my son, and I am going to get revenge on my men. But the thing that I don't understand, and maybe this is me not braining correctly, so please, in the comment section, please let me know your thoughts. Please be polite. But the whole thing with the 600 strike, it sounded, and in the animatic, he was using the wind bag as the ability, like a jet propulsion backpack, but then also he was using the strength of the 600 dead somehow or another to punch him a bunch of times, and it felt like it was a lot of miraculously he's able to do this, and he's able to hit Poseidon in such a way as to knock him to the ground, and he releases his trident, and Odysseus is able to pick up the trident. And this is when we get into with 600 strikes. And then he opens the wind bag to release the storm. And Poseidon's, you idiot, you're never getting home now because you released my storm. That storm is not going to let you get home. And Odysseus is, yeah, I know, but you're going to call it off. You're going to get rid of that storm. And Poseidon, you can't kill me. And he picks up the trident, and then he basically tortures Poseidon. Oh my God, it's an idiot. See that this has, I've been trying to wrap my head around this piece, but it's in Greek mythology, people who go up against God in this way, they get punished. Sisyphus, the king of Corinth, had tricked Thanatos, the god of death, into being trapped in chains. And so because of that, there was no death. And because of this, when no one was bound, so Zeus punished Sisyphus for his attempts to trick death. So they just got him out of Calypso's island. Odysseus is using Poseidon's trident to torture Poseidon in order to get him to finally leave him alone. What's to stop Poseidon from deciding to come back later and just wiping out the island? What's to stop him from going to Zeus? I mean, it sounds a lot. It's his own stubborn, stupid pride. But the minute Odysseus steps off that island, it sounds, I mean, what's to stop him from being killed the moment he steps off that island again? And I kind of thought it would maybe be another divine intervention thing, or Athena would step in or something like that. But I don't know. It's not making sense. If it feels something where it was written into a corner, and it was kind of one of those, well, I am the author and this is what I wanted to happen, so I am forcing this square peg into this round hole type situation. But I am probably wrong. This is just me being critical, and I can't even, and the fact that I am not a writer, so obviously I can sit here on my high horse and talk about it and critique it myself. It's very good acting. I will say that the acting between both of them, with the anger and the torture and everything, was just chef's kiss. Fantastic acting throughout the entire thing. I just don't the direction. I just don't what happened, and I don't know how I'd fix it myself, because I know no matter what he did, I know there would be some criticism. I think also my other issue is that I know oftentimes with musical theater and listening to songs, a lot of the times it can be a little harder to really understand what's going on. But with a lot of these songs, you can picture what's going on in your head with the words and the music and everything. You can picture it. With the 600 strike and with all this other stuff, it's not making sense, at least to me. And if it makes sense to you, and if you love it, that is fantastic. I'm glad You are smarter than me, I am sure. It doesn't take much. Truly doesn't take much. But yeah, and that's the end of it. And then, but I do love at the end when he releases the storm and he's, okay, fine, you win. How are you going to sleep at night? And Odysseus says, next to my wife. Damn, I love it, because it didn't say he was going to sleep at night. It just said he was going to be next to his wife. He is going home and he is taking care of business, and he is fully embracing the monster, even though repeatedly it has shown that it has not ended well being a monster. And that's something I'm curious about, because doing all of this would have to take a huge toll on a man. So I would think that would completely change him. And then it's with the PTSD of war vets. Is there going to be any sort of communication in the final songs of Can We Fall in Love Again? I think that's the final song or How Do We Fall in Love Again, or something like that. Is there going to be a communication about how, yeah, I did all this to get home to you? That's going to be interesting. So I am really excited. And of course, to see Antinous get his ass handed to him on a silver platter. I'm excited. That is going to be so good. As much as I love the voice, and I love it's a good villain voice. It's a very good villain voice. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. I mean, we know, of course, what's going to happen next. We know it's going to end well. Not going to end well for the suitors, but at least, that is just my thoughts on the matter. And again, I've said a million times in this episode, I would really value your feedback on this and see what opinions you have on it. If you have different opinions, that is fantastic. Please let me know. And I'd love to get that conversation started of what you think with that final song. If you agree, if you disagree, stay warm and fuzzy. And I love you all, and I will catch you next time. Goodbye.